Hi guys, my name is Lena and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well. A few months ago I did a video where I was reviewing my university. I did sports business and sports law at UCFB Wembley, and since then I've been getting so many DMs and so many comments and so many messages on LinkedIn about my first job after uni. So I work in one of the championships clubs in London, UK. I work in commercial sector and I work in partnerships and sponsorships. So I thought it was gonna be a good idea to give you guys some tips in one video, just to combine it all. So if you have any questions or you're wondering how are you gonna land that job straight after uni in football, in sports in general, make sure to watch this video. So when it was time for me to decide which uni I want to go for, and I was searching and searching, initially I wanted to become a lawyer and then work in sports, but then I was like, you know what if I do something sports related straight away without training how to become a lawyer first? So instead of doing the normal regular law course, I did sports business and sports law at UCFB Wembley. I did Google it and it had really good reviews, and I saw their YouTube channel. I was like, done deal, I'm moving to London. So I packed my bags, and I moved to London, and it was the first time that I was far away from home. But never mind. I feel like before going to uni, I had this idea in my head that I am gonna, first week I'm gonna land this amazing internship, that I'm gonna work in Chelsea FC, that I'm, I had this vision in my head of how my life will look like, and I was stressing so hard because I was like, oh my god, apart from uni, I need to do work placements, I need to do this, I need to do that, and I was really stressed. And the thing is, I'm gonna be honest with you, if you want to get a work experience in football, it is hard, especially with the football clubs. It is quite hard to do it because there's so many people who want to do it, and usually they would just take like a one intern or maybe a few more. I know Man City, they do like a graduate scheme and they take on a few people straight after uni, and then they train them and stuff, and you work like an analyst for them. But the majority of the clubs, you have to be a graduate to do that. If you want to do like unpaid stuff, I found it really hard to find something on my own. I was like, okay, I need to keep going. I need to figure this out on my own. And then I remember there were so many conferences happening in Wembley Stadium, because this is where my university was. And at first I was like, I got this like email from uni saying like, oh, do you want to volunteer at this Sports Pro Life conference? And I was like, oh my god. So I read the email and it was like just honestly just showing people directions. And there's so many opportunities like that, just to do like a voluntary experience for a weekend or just for a day. And there's so many people who didn't do this. It was just me and two other guys from my uni, even though there was like, I don't know, 50 volunteers there, and there was only 3 of us. And I was like, oh my god, this is gonna be horrendous. And then I thought, okay, let's do this. Sports Pro Life, there's so many influential people in there, I'm just gonna do it. So I remember I dressed up really professionally. I went to that to the stadium. I was saying hello to people, registering them in, and they were just going, and going and moving, and I didn't even have like the chance to speak to them. So and that's how I felt. I felt like this, being a volunteer is not good enough. Like I need to have a proper work experience, sitting in the office and learning and, doing this 5 days out of 7. And then I remember there was a lunch break, and I remember inside Wembley Stadium there was like a big hall where everyone could get a drink, a refreshment and stuff like that. And I remember I was in a queue and I was getting green tea, because green tea is so much better than coffee. It is, I love green tea. It doesn't matter, but I do love it. And the guy behind me, he was hesitant. He didn't know what to get, and suddenly he was like, oh, could I have black coffee? And then I was like, oh no, take green tea. It's like you talk to someone who's like hesitant, you're making a little contact, and then he's like, oh yeah, fine. And then we started smiling at each other, and then we started talking over green tea. And he was actually the founder and the director of one of the biggest TV rights companies in Europe or in the world, and he's also a owner of Leeds United now. I don't think he was a owner at that time. I had no idea who he was. I just knew that he had like a red lanyard, which meant that he's a speaker at that event. And then we talked and talked, and he told me like, at first it's hard, but you need to get into there. And for me, even though I never worked for this guy after all, but I did ask for his business card and he kindly gave it to me. He was such a nice person. This was the first step for me. Oh my God, I did networking because it was for the first time in my life I had to speak to someone I didn't know out of my comfort zone and just go and do it myself. And if I didn't go to that, one day, or I think it was 3 days, 2 or 3 days voluntary experience, I would have never had the opportunity to network and meet people like this. And just hearing them encouraging me, hearing him saying like, you'll just do just fine. The thing is that if you go to uni, my advice to you is go there, but don't expect everything to be given to you. Like I thought I was gonna get offer this amazing work experience straight away, because that's not a thing. You need to do certain tiny bits in order to get where you want to be. So that was my first big step. I was doing every single voluntary thing that you could possibly think of, every conference, even if it was just greeting guests. Go for that one. You're not gonna get paid, but go. You're gonna meet a lot of people, even like meeting person waiting for green tea in the queue. You never know who you're gonna meet. You never know who's gonna give you a business card. Ask for business cards as well. If you meet someone, you talk to them, you smile with them and laugh with them, and you have a great chat, say, could I please have your business card? I'd love to get in touch. And I also did New York marathons. I remember there was an opportunity to work during London Marathon, and I did it for 2 years, and it was actually a paid experience. And you were doing certain bits in the Excel Center. I was actually in the New Balance stand, and before that I was in Adidas stand because these were the main sponsors. And I met so many people representing New Balance and representing Adidas. So if you're thinking about, not only working in football or in sports organizations, but brands, if you actually meet somebody from Nike, Adidas or New Balance, they're marketing directors, they're digital directors as well. And I was so shocked because not many people actually went there to do this. So my advice to you, if you're at uni is your time to shine, not only academically not only doing assignments and raising your hand in those lectures, but also doing tiny small things. It is possible to get work experience if you're at uni. It's probably not going to be paid, or probably it's going to be like expenses paid or something. And if you do get a paid one, that's amazing. I applaud you. But the thing is, it's very unlikely, especially first 2 years. You don't know much. If you don't have the connections, you're not gonna work full time. So my advice to you is do tiny steps, and you'll get there, like I did. Another thing that I did is to register on different websites. I'm gonna link them down below. One of them is definitely the English FA. I remember they posted a job saying that they want somebody to go to St. George's Park and take care of the France under 20 players. And because I spoke French, I put on my CV and I put on my cover letter, I actually managed to do this, and I did it I think 3 or 4 times. No, maybe 3 or 4, that's too much. Once or twice, I think, I went to St. George's Park, and I was the liaison between French FA and English FA. And my job was to make sure that the French FA was happy with their stay, whatever they wanted to be posted on social media, or whatever they wanted, laundry done, whatever. I had to be the main contact for them, which was such a fun experience. Honestly, I remember I went to St. George's Park. I was put in Hill Hilton and all expenses paid. I was eating with them all the time. I get to know their staff, their coaches, their medical team. It was honestly the best experience ever. I was still in touch with them, and you know, such great people, and I had honestly a blast. And I remember then, because I got this experience that wasn't paid, it was just like a voluntary thing. I also kept in touch with a woman who actually hired let me do this thing. And then when I needed to interview people for my dissertation in my third year, that was really easy because I just messaged her, and then I could, you know, interview a few people from the FA as well. So another thing for me is to think, just because it's not paid, it doesn't mean that it's not worth it. Just because for me it was, you know, being a liaison, something that I never thought I would do, because I wanted to get into law and sponsorships and that side of the, you know, football business. Just because it's not what you want to do in the future, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't be doing this, because I put it on my CV. And I remember, you know, later on when I was going to interviews and stuff, people actually thought, wait a sec, this girl, she's actually diverse, you know, she can do this, she can do that, she can speak French, she did this, she went on her own to St. George's Park, she coordinated between English FA and French FA. And another thing for me is, like, if you go to do voluntary things, even if it's a tiny bit, one day ask for the main contact who hired you, who gave you this opportunity, and add them on LinkedIn. Say thank you message by the end of it. Thank you, it was so nice. Just honestly a few words. It's like, oh hi, just wanted to check in, say thank you so much for you know, giving me the opportunity to learn and to help you throughout this whole process. And just keep them there, because even though they might never offer you a job afterward, you know, you might never see them again, to be honest. If you need references, because you will need a lot of references by the time you finish uni, they're gonna be there for you, because they'll remember you. They're gonna remember, oh, that's a nice person who sent me that follow-up note, and she was great, and they're gonna, you know, be happy to help you as well. For me, the main thing that I wanted to share with you guys today is, honestly, don't expect too much. University is your time to shine, but your time to enjoy it, and your time to figure out what you want. And don't do this, you know, don't just look ahead, straight ahead. You have to look everywhere, you know, you have to look everywhere. If you want to do marketing, that's great, but if you don't get marketing work experience, do liaison. You know what I did? Is that a thing? Liaison? Be a liaison. Do whatever you can, even the tiniest thing. And if you don't get paid for it, don't worry about it. If you hate it, you might never have to do it again. Make a list of all the stadiums in the UK or wherever you're studying, close by. Have a look at the conferences that are being held there. Is it Sports Pro Media? Is this, I think, Sports Pro Live. That's the name of the conference. Is it held there? Because I know it's held at Wembley, at Twickenham. Think about the games, you know. Get involved in hospitality. You might be pouring pints, but if you're good at it, they might say, okay, pour pints in a VIP area. That's another thing I forgot to tell you. I also did hospitality. I was a hostess for Arsenal, and you know, the amount of famous people that you meet there if you're in the VIP areas is just crazy. Obviously you can't ask them about anything because you work there, but because you work there and you're at every game, they tend to like know your face. So there were so many times when I was working there and people were like, oh hi, it's you again, you know, so they're nice. And it's all about building those contacts. It's all about getting out of your comfort zone and trying new things. Because I remember I was so scared, and I remember I was so harsh on myself. I was like, oh, I just want to do law and sponsorships, and I want to work for a football club. That's all I want. Well, I did get there in the end. That was my first job after uni. It's exactly what I wanted. But in order to get there, I had to do tiny little bits. And that is the purpose of this video. To let you know that in order to get here by the end of uni, you need to do tiny little things. Thank you so much for watching. I intend to do like a little series on this channel, all about sports business, about getting a job there, how to get in and stuff like that. I'm gonna try to do it every week. So if this is something that you're interested in, make sure to click that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up, because then I'll know whether it's worth it or not, whether you guys want to see it or not. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Please take care and bye.